Hello everyone, and welcome to another beer review. Now today we're doing a beer that I've tried to get hold of a couple of times, and I'm not saying I've tried really hard, but I've been in the shop. Anytime I've been in any of these shops, I've always had a look. Unfortunately, I think most of them have been in Scotland, and every time I've looked at not being there, I thought, oh well, sod it. But this time I'm down here. I'm down in wonderful Devon, and I did manage to get it here. So let's see what forged Irish Stout tastes like. Well, we've seen all the hype and I've seen other comparisons and things. The problem is I've seen it basically reviewed and compared on YouTube by YouTubers that, let's just say, I don't particularly trust their opinions and views 100%, because they always kind of strike me as they're kind of looking for some sort of kind of deal or some sort of kind of collaboration out of a lot of things they say and do. And a lot of these things are said on the basis of, oh, hopefully I'll get something out of this if I be kind of nice about the product and things like that. So let's just say some of them are a bit dubious, and that's the ones I've seen of this. And yeah, well, you know, they have 3 of the different types in a row, and they all say they're wonderful, but this is just slightly more wonderful than the next. And you're thinking, well, I've tasted 2 of them, and trust me, they're not wonderful in any way, shape or form. So that's the thing that kind of stands out. So I thought, well, it'd be interesting to see what this is actually like for myself, and now's my chance. So, is there any spill in the back? Now, if you don't know anything about this, this is basically, is it Conor McGregor? That, well, I don't know, is he a cage fighter? Is he MMA? Is he an actor now? Is he an entrepreneur? I mean, what is he? You know, he's Irish. That's one thing we can confirm about him, I think. But anyway, he's done a whiskey as well and things like that, and he's into all manner of things. He's got his own pub and that type of stuff, and I'm sure he's got his own brand of underwear or something like that, you know, so you can drop your plums into a pair of Conor McGregors, you know what I mean? Anyway, but apparently this is forged, brewed and canned in Ireland. I don't know about the forged bit, that's just bollocks. But I think it's supposed to be, you know, kind of going along the kind of forged, and it's a Nitro one, as you can probably see in the kind of graphics. It's Nitro. So there you go, there's a surprise. There isn't really much spiel in the back, and I don't really know who actually makes this. There's no real, it just says it's made in Dublin, and then it gives you an address. I've not really looked it up. Was it Drimna Road? Is that Crumlin, Dublin, D12? There you go. But there isn't, just a lot of things just repeated in different languages, you know, that type of stuff. Ingredients, blah, 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 and then it's repeated in so many different kind of languages. Which is strange because this is really only sold in Asda right now. And I got it in a deal. So I did. So it's on sale just now. So it was working out at... you're getting 8 cans for £10. But normally, if you want, you can only buy it in a 4-pack, and it's £5.75 at the moment. That's what it's been sold as. It might have been on sale previously, but this is the price as of basically July 2024. You can't get it anywhere else. Asda's got the exclusive kind of rights to it. I don't know how long that's going to last or things like that. It's the same way as what Tesco's had with Black Heart from Brewdog. Yeah, that shit show. Anyway, shall we crack it open? It's only a 440ml can, because again, they're cheap, you know. Well, they're trying to make it cheap by giving you less of it and that type of stuff. So they don't. Again, they should lose points. Well, there's a good chance it's going to lose points, because really there's no excuse. It should be a 500ml can. This 440 bit's just nonsense. But this is them trying to hit a price point to go after the competition like Black Heart or Guinness. Now Guinness think it's £5.25 for a 4-pack. And Black Heart's kind of in between. It's around about kind of £5.50 or something like that. So it's kind of in between the two. And yeah. So they're all kind of trying to kind of hit a kind of price point just now. But yeah, 440ml, they're all at it. It just annoys me. There's no excuse. So come on, get a grip. And it's 4.2%, which is kind of the same, because I think Black Heart is 4.2. Again, I'll put all them details down below and confirm them, but I'm sure basically they're all roughly about the kind of 4.2%. So there you go. But anyway, let's crack the can open and see what it's like. Hopefully it's not too feisty. Well, hopefully it's not. Right. Let's see what this is like. I would have held it up, but it was threatening to piss everywhere. But there you go. Marvellously. So, what's been happening? Has there anything been happening so much? Oh, I had the garage. I've got a car that I MOT'd last month, and they just phoned me up and basically said, "Oh, just a quick reminder, Mr. Stowers, your car's up for its MOT next month on the 20th. Like, no, it's not. Oh, I think it is. No, it's not. It was MOT'd last month by used lot. Was it? Yeah. Oh, is this your registration number? No. All right. Oh, somebody's given me the wrong registration number. Oh, and that was it. So they're kind of all embarrassed and apologetic to bugger off. But yeah, they're kind of strange that. I'm like, but I think it was just like, oh yes, it is. And I'm like, no, seriously, it isn't. You know, I like when they've done a little bit of argumentative. They did, oh, well, it is. No. Trust me. I mean, you're dealing with a lot of cars. I'm only dealing with one. What's the chances that, hey, I've got it wrong and you've got it right? You know, I just like that with people with cases of, if you're really not sure and you're working in an environment with, you know, where potentially mistakes can be made, then don't kind of try and argue with people. You could sometimes, well, are you sure? I mean, you could have went down that route, but no, I think it is. No, fucking isn't. You know, it's just, you know, not maybe the best customer service. Just kind of cut it back a wee bit, you know, that type of thing. And I got my football tickets for the Dundee Derby for the start of the season, so hopefully we'll win that one and don't get pumped. But you never know. You never know. But anyway, what else has been happening? There's lots of kind of things that have been happening. So much in the beer news. Not really, apart from Adnams is looking at different investment options and things like that. But there's no issues or problems with Adnams, and you know they don't need this investment and that type of stuff. It'd just be nice if they got it, that type of thing. So they're looking at these type of things, and of course it's not a sale; it's just an investment, and all this kind of stuff. Anything else really happening? I've got the Peterborough Beer Festival I'm going to be at next month, so I'll be there on the Friday. Is it the Friday? I'll probably be there on the Friday and maybe the Saturday. I'm not really sure, but I will be definitely there. I'll probably confirm it closer to the time. I think it's the 23rd I'm going to be there, and maybe the 24th. We'll see what we find there. Anything else happening? Not really that much, to be totally honest. Not really that much. Although in saying that, when I'm going to be at the beer festival, I will be there with some family. So it might turn into a sesh. You never know. Usually with the family, it probably will turn into a sesh because I need that numbness, you know. I'm not going to kill me for saying that. I need to be numb to be in your presence. But anyway, let's quickly top this up and have a sniff. Right. There's a wee bit of smokiness there. So there is. And yeah, you're getting that kind of that kind of slightly what I call dry molasses kind of smell. It's a kind of molasses smell, but no real sweetness to it. It's a kind of dryness to it, so it's a kind of slightly dryness to it with a little bit of smokiness. That's the kind of tones I'm getting. Almost kind of licorice kind of style, but not quite. You know, but it's kind of along those kind of lines. It's kind of molassy, kind of treacle, but without the kind of real kind of sweeter notes. And you just also get this little bit of smokiness there as well. As you can see, for people with the podcast, it's jet black with one finger head, and yes, it's a kind of slightly tan coloured head. So let's see what it tastes like. Yeah, it's got quite a molasses feel to it and flavour to it. So it is kind of slightly treacly. Maybe a hint of licorice, but it's little chocolate tones as well, but not a kind of real bitterness to it. It doesn't really have the bitter end so much, but it does have that little bit of smokiness to it. And overall, I would say the flavour profiles are kind of similar to the kind of Guinness and Black Heart to a certain degree, because they're all kind of going down that kind of route. But what I would say is, because of the little bit of smokiness to it and just that kind of sort of more kind of dry, kind of dark treacle kind of flavour tones, it reminds me a bit like Beamish, but just not as strong in the flavour. So it's quite Beamish-esque. In fact, imagine it's a bit like the Murphy's, but not as sweet. That's probably the best way to describe it. It's quite similar to Murphy's, but doesn't have that kind of sweet edge to it that Murphy's has. Because Murphy's, it's got a bit more flavour than Guinness, but has a little bit of sweetness to it on the kind of mid-tongue, which this doesn't have. So yeah, or you can look at it as a kind of slightly kind of scaled down kind of Beamish flavour with a little bit of smokiness there. But overall, it's actually not too bad. I'm not going to say it's wonderful. I'm not going to say it's great, because it isn't. What I'll probably will do is maybe get, because I've got a few cans of it, so I'll maybe do a kind of comparison between them, but also bring in a couple of kind of standard, non-nitro, more traditional stouts, because I think I've still got one of the Green King's new stout. I think I've got it at Midnight Hen, so I think I've got that, one of them left. So if I get a Guinness and a Black Heart, and then what I'll do is I'll maybe get a Black Cab stout from Fuller's, and then put them all together and do as a comparison and see what the flavours are really like if you compare them to more, because it's alright comparing them amongst themselves, and they're all kind of very much of a muchness, let's be totally honest, these Nitro kind of Irish stouts. But what they like against a decent, more kind of traditional stout, this is what it really comes down to, and how do the flavours really kind of cope and kind of compare. So I'm thinking about doing that. I think that'd be a good video to do, and also kind of show them where the kind of flavour kind of profiles really are. But yeah, it's okay. Right now, just going from memory, I think this has got a little bit more to it, flavour-wise, than Guinness. Maybe even slightly a little bit more than Black Heart. But it'd be better to have them all kind of together to see what it's like. But overall, it's not too bad. It's drinkable. The thing is, though, I'm not a big fan of Nitro pour beers, just because there's a falseness to it. It's all about, a little bit the creamy head, but the head isn't creamy. It's a nitrogen pour that does that. It's not the actual beer, and there isn't really a creaminess to the beer, because if you basically, try more traditional Guinness, it doesn't have that creaminess, doesn't have that kind of texture or mouthfeel. And it just feels like kind of false, you know. It's a case of it's nothing really to do with the beer. It's like something you've added outside of it, you know. It's like me basically adding lemonade to a beer and then say, oh, this beer's hell of a sweet, you know. Well, it's not the beer, it's because you've added fucking lemonade to it, you know. It's like that type of situation, you know. I mean, what's that got to do with the beer? It's what you've added outside of the beer, you know. And that's what it comes down to. And it's just, I always just feel it's a bit false. But anyway, let's break down the flavours. Starts off, again, very kind of similar. It's always kind of roasted grains at the front of the mouth, a little hint of sweetness. Moves on to the kind of mid-tongue. And yeah, then kind of slightly kind of roasted edge starts kind of moving into the mid-tongue, and you start getting more of a development of kind of molasses. And that kind of, there isn't a real sweetness there, so it's, to me, it's like more of a kind of a dry kind of molasses flavour, without that kind of sweetness, which actually is not too bad. It's slightly bitter, but not quite. And it just makes it a little bit more interesting in the mid-tongue, rather than having something that's a bit too sweet or a sweetness there that really shouldn't be there, because stout really shouldn't be kind of sweet, because it's done with roasted grains and not roasted malts. You really don't have that kind of sweetness there if it's been fermented and processed properly, that most of the sugar will be actually kind of taken up, and you will get a slightly dryness to it, and you should actually get a slight kind of bitter edge to it, or maybe a non-sweet edge, depending on how it's been done. That's what this is like. So you're getting a slightly smokiness, but a non-sweet edge. And yeah, I mean, the problem is with these type of flavour profiles, they're quite one-dimensional. You get little hints of chocolate, but again, not really much. And that's the problem. You get more traditional kind of stouts, you know, there's different layers of flavour. With these ones, it's all about the mouthfeel and the texture, really. The flavour's kind of secondary, that I feel, because, well, they're not really that strong. They used to be stronger back in my younger days. You know, Guinness had a bit more about it and everything else, where now it just doesn't have the depth of flavour. It's just very kind of one-dimensional kind of flavour, and yeah, it's that kind of slightly molassy kind of flavour, and maybe a little bit of smoke, maybe a wee hint of chocolate, but that's it. And it's like, once you hit that in the mid-tongue, it just like kind of goes all the way through and then dissipates in the back of the mouth. And yeah, nothing lingers, no bitterness. It just kind of all kind of dissipates together, and it just, yeah, quite a clean finish, which is again a little bit strange for the type of beer it should be. It should have more of a kind of stronger finish, more of a grounding finish, but no, you get none of that. All you're just getting is, you know, a bit like a lager. Not as in flavour wise, but just as how it basically finishes. But yeah, it's okay. Maybe get a little bit more as you get acclimatised to it. You just get maybe a little bit more to it, but overall, yeah, easy drinking, sessionable, yeah. For me, a bit boring, just because there's just no real kind of complexity to it. Let's be honest. It's all about the aesthetics and the kind of mouthfeel, really. You know, it's not really so much about the flavour, and that's probably why it's become so popular, because they've dialed back the flavour, and it's now obviously becoming less bitter and everything else, and other people are enjoying it more. I mean, a lot of women are enjoying kind of pints of Guinness and things like that when they're out in the pubs and things like that, which again, that's fine. I mean, everybody to their own, but for me, it's just find it a bit boring. As I've always said, these type of beers, I use them as a safety net. if I'm in there and I'm not really sure, if I'm in a pub that I'm not really sure of, and sometimes it's a case I won't go straight up to the bar, or can I hang off and just watch, what people's pints are like and see what's on the taps and see what people's pints are like, and look to see if I can kind of see what the quality of the beer's like, which sometimes can be quite difficult because you go in there and all you see is bloody pints of Carling or Foster's or Stella Artois or whatever, or other piss, and you're thinking, has anybody actually bought a fucking ale in here? And you're kind of looking about. Or if they're pouring in, but then watch and just see how it's pouring and things like that, and see what it looks like. Look at it to see what it's like, if somebody's halfway down it, and see how it's basically kind of reacting to the glass and that type of stuff. And if I'm not kind of liking what I see, then I might go for something like this, as a safety net, rather than buying a pint of poor quality ale because they haven't looked after it properly, which unfortunately does happen. So yeah. So what would I give this out of 10? That's a question. It's okay. I'm not going to say it's wonderful and everything else. I'd probably say there's a little bit more to this, going from memory, than say Guinness and maybe Black Heart Stout. Because the last time I had Black Heart Stout was 2 weekends ago. But I actually had it in a Brewdog pub, and it tasted exactly the same as it was like in the can, and it was almost $6.50. And watching the palaver of them pouring it, seriously, it was like a fucking circus. Fucking clowns, so they are. Fucking clowns. But anyway, yeah. For this type of beer, for a stout, I'd probably say give it 5.5 for a stout. For what it is as an Irish stout, yeah, it's okay. There's still better Irish stouts out there. Beamish has been the best one, but even then, like I said, it's more of a gimmick, the Nitro pour anyway, and for me it's a case of I can live without it easily. I don't need the mouth texture, I don't need the visuals and the aesthetics. I'd rather have a stout with layers of flavour, and let's be totally honest, you're not going to find that with Irish in the can. If it says Irish Stout and Nitro, then trust me, you're not going to get these kind of levels of flavour or complex flavours, so that's just reality. But yeah, for what it is, it's alright. 5.5 out of 10 as an Irish Stout. Nothing brilliant, but yeah, it's okay, it's drinkable. And I suppose it's kind of affordable. But 440ml can, come on. Stop ripping the piss. Should be 500ml minimum. But anyway, tell us what you think if you've tried it. And look out for me when I basically do a comparison with this and some of the other stouts available. Anyway, thanks for watching. Cheers. And bye for now.